Okay, so welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. And today we are tackling something that sounds pretty simple.
All right.
At first glance, at least. Should I sell my old typewriter?
Ooh.
But as we'll find out, I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye.
I suspect so.
And to make it even more interesting, we've got a pretty unique source to work with this time.
Oh.
We only have excerpts from
Okay.
a piece titled, and get ready for this one, it's in Spanish.
All right.
Vender mi vieja máquina de escribir,
Okay, I was not expecting Spanish.
which translates to, should I sell my old typewriter?
It's someone out there is grappling with this very dilemma.
Yeah, and the fact that it's in Spanish,
Oh, hey there. What's up?
Yeah, hi, it's David. Yeah, it's me who is dealing with the dilemma. Should I sell my old typewriter? Because now I've got this dilemma. I don't know if to sell it or not, because I think sometimes...
well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Seems like we've hit a nerve with you.
Because you're asking yourself the exact same thing.
It's a question of whether to sell that old typewriter.
So stick around, because we're going to unpack some of the bigger questions.
That might help you make up your mind.
Right. I mean, it makes you think about, technology and how it spreads.
Maybe they're still used in certain professions.
Right.
Or for official documents.
Yeah, or even just more common in everyday life.
Right.
Like, if that's the case, maybe letting go of a typewriter feels more like losing a piece of the present, not just, some antique from the past.
That's a good point. It really challenges those assumptions we have.
About how quickly technology changes everywhere,
And plus, even in places that are super tech forward, we still see this fascination with vintage stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Like, look at vinyl records. They've made a huge comeback.
Yeah, it's like there's this charm to things that have this history to them.
Exactly. And that...
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, the thing is that I used to write in my old typewriter, letters and postcards and all things like that. And it was quite nice because there is the clutter, the click-clack, the tap typing, so which I enjoyed. Even though I would say that we can use this as an ASMR relaxation mode, if you know what I mean. What do you think about it?
That's such a cool connection.
What's fascinating here is how you found that ASMR quality.
I never would have thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's like the typewriter becomes this unique instrument.
Almost like a sound machine, huh?
Yeah, you were describing the sensory experience that's attached to it.
Right.
The craftsmanship.
It's like holding a connection to the past. Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
Yeah, I'm going to show you just for a moment the sound of my old typewriter. Can you hear that? Can you hear
we'd
that?
love to hear it.
Yeah, give us a little demo.
Because, you were saying you learned to type on this machine.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, a little bit more. Here you are. You see?
Oh, that's amazing.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
It totally brings your experience to life.
It really highlights that personal connection people develop with these machines
I totally get that.
that transcends just their utility.
It's also like,
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, but sometimes I think it is just a lot of rubbish, It's this thing that I don't use and it's here getting dusty. And sometimes I say, oh my God, I should sell this old typewriter, so to get some money and that's it. What do you think about it?
It sounds like you're really wrestling with this.
you've seen both sides,
You recognize the emotional attachment, the sensory experience.
but also the practical side.
It's taking up space and could be turned into cash.
Right. I mean, it makes you think about, value.
Absolutely.
How do we define it and how does that change over time?
Exactly. And that's what's so interesting about this seemingly simple question.
Should I sell my old typewriter?
It's actually making us think about these bigger ideas.
About the meaning of value.
What's our relationship with objects? How do we choose to deal with things that have value to us?
Do we hold on to these physical objects?
Or do we, find other ways to appreciate them?
So for you, we'd love to hear more of your thoughts. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, in order to say we are going to sell my old typewriter, we could do a list of cons and pros. So let's see if it has more advantage or disadvantage. What do you think about it?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, let's try making a pros and cons list.
We can start with the obvious one.
The cons are pretty clear.
It's taking up space and collecting dust.
And you could use the money.
But what about the pros?
That's where it gets more interesting.
You mentioned the ASMR app.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I will give you some cons. For instance, there is no space for mistake, you know. Once you have written, so there is no space to correction. And then another one is low clutter, you know. Your neighbors can be really, really nervous about the clutter machine, you know, and it's always heavy to carry. I don't know. There is no space for copy paste. You cannot do a copy paste, which is really, really interesting with your computer. And I don't know.
Those are some really good points.
Especially about the lack of copy paste.
Yeah, those are some serious drawbacks.
It really highlights how our relationship to writing has changed.
It's much more forgiving now, isn't it?
Totally.
So let's dig a bit deeper into those pros.
You mentioned you get this ASMR feeling from it.
Right, so that sensory experience.
What other pros can you think of?
Well, you're thinking about an object from your past.
That object holds the meaning for you. And yeah, those are some really good cons,
Those are great points.
especially compared to today.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, I've thought about some cons. For instance, there is no distractions. I mean, no social media involved. You are very, very concentrated when you are on your typewriter, you know. There is no distraction. You are focused on your work. So that's one of the main pros, I think.
That's a fantastic point.
No distractions is a huge pro.
It's like a dedicated writing space, right?
Yeah, you're forced to focus.
No notifications, no endless scrolling.
Just you and the page.
So what makes you even consider selling it?
What would make you finally let it go?
Let us know.
You were talking about value earlier.
So what makes something valuable to you?
Is it purely monetary? Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, another pro is there is no need for Wi-Fi. I mean, or electricity. If only you have a typewriter, you don't need electricity, no Wi-Fi, no necessity of this, and there is no virus getting in your typewriter. So that's a really good thing. What do you think about it?
That's so true.
Absolutely.
The independence from electricity.
And the security from viruses too.
It's like a little fortress of Word.
So to recap the cons of selling your typewriter,
You lose the ASMR, the focus it brings you.
the history, and no electricity required.
But what about the other side of the coin?
Exactly. And how does that...
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, another pros which I think is fantastic is the beautiful and authentic looking letters, you know. So you can do it in very, very design letters with red and black, only red and black. There is no emojis, nothing involved with technology. So that's simple and plain.
That's a great point.
There's a unique aesthetic to typewritten text,
There's a design element to it.
the limited color palette,
It gives it a certain authentic feel.
especially compared to digital fonts and emojis.
So to get back to our pros and cons list,
We were going over the possible pros of not selling.
we've got the sensory experience,
The focus, no distractions, no electricity needed.
the unique aesthetic you mentioned.
All those things we've mentioned.
And those are pretty compelling reasons.
So why even consider selling?
What's behind that initial?
Yep. Go
Yeah,
on.
you're right. I think you're right. I think even if I make a mistake, I can even use the typing correction paper. Do you remember that little white paper in which you can correct? It's a kind of Tipex, you know?
Oh yeah, the whiteout strips.
What's fascinating here is you're remembering more pros.
Like even mistakes can be fixed.
There's a certain charm to that process, too.
Almost like a physical undo button, huh?
Yeah, you have to be a bit more deliberate.
They might not be useful anymore, those strips.
But their value skyrockets.
Because they're rare and have that tangible feel.
So, to get back to what we were saying before,
From everything you've said so far.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
apart from that, you have to think very, very carefully before writing. You know, you have to be focused and you have to think about what you want to say before typing. Otherwise, it will be too late, and you will do many mistakes. You will make many mistakes.
And that's a great point.
absolutely, you have to be more deliberate.
You've really got to plan things out.
It's almost like a form of mindfulness.
And that is why it's hard to sell.
You've made it so clear why it's more than junk.
That focus is a really beautiful quality.
It really boils down to that, doesn't it?
It's about the beauty and simplicity.
Let's push on this pros and cons idea.
Yeah, the Spanish article you're looking at gets to that.
What does our source have to say?
They talk about the value of the machine itself.
And what do they say?
They ask, is it just about the money?
They consider the historical meaning it has.
So what makes something valuable to you?
What does this all mean for you, though?
The emotional, historical, practical focus.
All those things we've mentioned so far?
Ultimately, it's a question only you can answer.
Right. They say if it's purely about cash,
Then selling might be the obvious choice.
but then they dig a little deeper.
They ask about the emotional connection
They wonder, does the typewriter remind you of someone?
or a specific time in your life.
Then it's not just an object anymore.
They also ask if it represents a certain period.
So, what other questions do you think people should ask? Oh, yeah,
Yeah, don't you think that AI is going to kill the typewriter as the song sing?
That's a really interesting question.
It raises an important point about the future.
Right. I mean, will AI make typewriters obsolete?
But is that such a bad thing if they do?
But that could take away from typewriters.
Right. And if that's the case,
What do you think would happen then?
it might be worth more for other reasons.
Like a display piece, an antique?
But what about people that still use them?
So, what questions should people ask if they're selling?
If they are trying to decide whether to sell,
Or keep their old typewriter?
could you display it as a piece of art?
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, and apart from that, I'm thinking about founding a typewriter users association. What do you think about it?
Wow, that's quite an idea.
What's fascinating here is how you want to connect with them.
It shows you're passionate.
You value this community.
It's more than just nostalgia, right?
Absolutely. And it makes us think about the future too.
Oh, back to our listener.
No,
What's
no.
up?
It's gonna be the Typewriter Users Club. What do you think about it? It's a good title, is it?
The Typewriter User Club has a nice ring to it.
It's short and to the point.
It sounds like you are really set on this.
Yeah.
And it's like we were saying.
As the pod.
Oh, go for it.
Or what about the click-clack society? Which one do you think is better to create an association to defend the rights of typewriters?
Oh, that's another great name.
The click-clack society really evokes the sound.
Right, it captures that ASMR vibe.
Okay, let's unpack this idea a bit.
Because we were talking about the future.
And if an association or club could keep it alive,
What about AI taking over a little bit?
right, could that help people find value?
And I think that club is perfect for that.
It absolutely could help spread that culture.
What do you think about that future, though?
It'll be really interesting to see you on it.
And again, thanks for sharing the sounds.
Yeah, that's great.
It made your experience come alive.
I think that brings us to a close.
Yeah, we are coming to a close here.
That's about all we've got for today.
Thanks again for joining us.
It was really great to have you chime in.
We will catch you next time.
I hope it gave you something to consider.
We hope you found this helpful.
Yeah.
So, people from around the world, I make an announcement. Please don't sell your typewriters any longer anymore. Please get to our Association of Typewriters Users Club, which is going to get together and defend the rights of typewriters and around the world. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's quite an announcement.
It sounds like you're making it official.
You're starting a movement.
You're defending those beautiful machines.
I think that future sounds so cool.
Because it really does come down to value.
You know, that Spanish article was really cool.
What it meant by that,
For the typewriter dilemma.
Keep thinking about that club idea as well.
You were saying you like the name of the club.
What's more important is what you do.
It's about those members, right?
That's what will make it special to join.
Thanks again for being here today
We loved having you chime in.
and for taking the time out.
We hope you have a wonderful day.
We will catch you next time.
And we hope you have a wonderful day.
And that ends our show today.
See you next time.
Thank you.